back by popular demand. Peter Vaiusu talks on certain lawyers and officers in Australia. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Oz Underworld for all Australian crime content. Disclaimer: this is not Peter's YouTube account, nor does he run this page. Follow him on his Instagram at Triggs and triggz.sweetness on TikTok.
We got very few good lawyers, you know, like when I say good, I mean like very few lawyers who help from their heart. Like, yeah, they do their job, and they don't have to use their heart if they don't want to, you know, because it's just a job, you know. They do their job and they go home. The problem is they swindle moves in order to take your money. And when they take your money, they turn around and they start doing deals with the cops so that they may gain favor from the police, all right? Let's start off with my Juvie charge, all right? I got charged in Juvie for robbery in company. There's a lawyer that turned up. I didn't know where he came from, but obviously my family are not wealthy, so I had to go under legal aid. This lawyer looked at the footage, yeah? And what happened was I was walking and I seen boys, and when I seen them, it was like about 3 or 4 of them. They were in the middle of doing something, and there was an Indian guy there, yeah? I didn't think nothing of it. I didn't even see them. When I walked through, these guys yelled out my name, and when they yelled out my name, they waved to me. I was with a girl at the time, so please guys, stop calling in. I'm not going to answer your phone calls. When these guys, why does this guy keep calling through, bro? Someone tell these guys stop calling through. When I was walking through, these guys waved over to me, and I was with a girl, and I waved back because I knew them, and then I kept walking. And when I kept walking, I went up to the train station, and there was cameras everywhere that caught us, yeah? Can you cut this bloke off? He keeps calling in. And long story short, when I got over there to the train station, we caught the train, went home, and everything was sweet. Nothing out of the ordinary, yeah? Then out of the blues, I get hauled into the police station, and they locked me up in Juvie, and they said I was charged with robbery in company. And I didn't understand like why I was being charged with robbery in company, because I didn't rob anyone. I walked past when the boys were doing something. I don't know what they were doing, but I was going home, and I was with a girl at the time, yeah? Anyway, the lawyer that came and saw me, he went through my case, and when he went through my case, he immediately told me to plead guilty. And I was like, what the And he goes, yeah, but Pete, you have to understand, you're going to get smashed. So it's best for you to just plead guilty. The stupid kid in me, I ended up pleading guilty. Oh, mate. Guess what I got for it? Hey? I spent 1 year in Juvie for something I didn't do. I had nothing to do with it. And this lawyer was the one that took me into it. Now that I'm older and I'm wiser, I've realized, yeah, that when you're on legal aid, the barristers, the lawyers, this is how they work. The quicker they get you to plead guilty, the quicker they get paid. So if you've ever sat in front of a lawyer and they're trying to verbal you to plead guilty, especially you young guys that are going to Juvie, this happens to every kid that's been in Juvie. And I bumped into a lot of boys that was in Juvie that also pleaded guilty to things that they never should have pleaded guilty to, yeah? So to all you young guys out there, if you have a lawyer that you deem is unsuitable or not doing his job to the best of his ability, then get rid of him. Like, you have to contact legal aid and explain to them the reason why you want a different lawyer, yeah? Don't try to like go off at the lawyer and do the stupid things that the usual boys do, because usually all the boys go off and start swearing and whatnot. No. Just call legal aid. You have every right to get a new lawyer, especially if you know 110% that this lawyer is not there to help you. So to all you guys that are young, who get caught doing crime, the number one rule is do not have an interview. All right. I stuffed up there. Yes, there was a lot of times I got arrested and I got locked up, and it was because I had an interview, because a lot of the things that I got arrested for was rubbish. So I thought I could get myself out of it. But guess what? All the talking that I did in there, I ended up just putting myself at the scene of what had happened. Then I ended up pleading guilty to it, and I ended up going to Juvie for it. So number one, no interview. Number two, when you get a lawyer, make sure that you understand what they're talking about. And if you have nothing to do with the charge, do not plead guilty. If you tell your parents, because remember, like, you're young, so lawyers will try to verbal you all they can, Tell your parents, tell the Juvie workers, like anyone that's there that can help you. Explain to them that you do not trust your lawyer and you do not deem them suitable, and legal aid's obligation is to give you a lawyer that you're happy with. All right. So that's number one. My robbery in Juvie, where I did 9 months. I was supposed to do 9 months, but I ended up doing 1 year because I hit a worker at Juvie. So that 1 year that I did was for nothing. The extra 3 months was stupidity. Now let's go fast forward to the 10 years that I spent in prison from 2007 to 2017. That's the 10 years that I served. I was only supposed to serve 7.5 years, but because I was running amok in prison, I ended up serving my whole sentence, the whole 10 years. Now, I had a lawyer who is now on TV pretty much every week. I'm not going to name this guy. Like, all this stuff will be revealed in the podcast when I do everything professionally. Now, this lawyer had a paralegal, and paralegals are those that go above and beyond for you because they're trying to make a name and they're trying to be a certified lawyer. This lawyer left me with it. Pretty much didn't try to help me. I was an 18-year-old kid and the paralegal was trying to help me, but the lawyer was pretty much pushing him aside. So when the barrister came into things, the barrister, he was all right, but at the same time, as soon as I finished a hearing or a court date, this guy was having coffee with the police officers that charged me. And yeah, of course, he can have a coffee with the police if he's friends with them and whatnot. But this is what you guys don't understand, is police will go above and beyond and out of their way when they shouldn't be, Like, above and beyond is like for their job. But when they go out of their way to try to secure things that they don't have evidence for in order for you to be found guilty, this is where you start calling them corrupt police officers. So what happened was, my people kept telling me, your barrister's having coffee with the cops. My mom said it to me, and I said to my people and my mom, I'm like, don't worry, okay? All these people know each other, like, it doesn't mean nothing, Now, I never knew that corrupt police was a thing, I just watched it on movies, but I thought it was just movies. It wasn't until I went in for my 10 years and I went through trial that I realized, wow, what the freaking there is corruption in the world, bro. Remember, I'm an 18-year-old kid, So what happened was, I got charged with kidnapping, with intent to hold for ransom $1 million. A guy got kidnapped. He was told to hand over $1 million, and a friend of mine who was involved in it, he pleaded guilty to it. He told the prosecutors and he told the judge that I had nothing to do with it, but they didn't believe it, And when I went to trial for it, the actual person who got nabbed, halfway through the trial, when he went on stand, he actually said, this guy's got nothing to do with it. I told you it was Asians, like it was Asian boys. Like, why are you got this bloke here? Like, let him go. And guess what happened? The prosecutor stopped the whole court, and he said, Your Honor, I want to say that this inmate, or sorry, he wasn't an inmate, but this person is here today to sabotage the case, and we have a reasonable reason on why he's doing what he's doing. Because remember, he's their crown witness, so he did snitch me in, yeah? But when he turned up to trial, he changed his story. But when we went through the facts in the brief, what he said was, it was Asians that I saw and a few islanders. And then when he turned up to trial, he retracted his statement, and he said, this guy's got nothing to do with it. And then the judge told the prosecutor, give me 2 reasons why I shouldn't let Vaiusu walk home now. Like, that's your whole case, that crown witness, that's your whole case, thrown out. The jury got told to leave. The prosecutor explained that there was a lot of threats and a lot of things that had happened to him, this guy and his family, and that's why they believe that he's here today to sabotage the case. And what didn't help was the way that this victim spoke. Like, he was pretty much acting like a gangster on stand. He was like, this guy's got nothing to do with it. What are you talking about, bro? Like, that's how he was talking. He came with a bum bag, gold chains and all that. And now, the trial went on, and I ended up getting found guilty, and I got 10 years for it, yeah? The thing is, I explained to my lawyer and my barristers, I go, how the hell did I get found guilty when there was no evidence of his blood in my car? Because they said that it was the car that I was in, yeah? That was a part of the napping. I said there was no evidence whatsoever of that. The guys, the victim's fingerprints and blood and all that was nowhere in the car as well. And and he actually went on stand and said I had nothing to do with it. Like, how does that work? Right. There is a barrister who is the most well-known, yeah, I'd say in Australia, all right? This guy is the go-to guy for all the high-profile gangsters, yeah? Guess what he turned around and said to me back then? He said to me, nah. He goes, it didn't really sit right with me how he said it. He goes, so I don't really deem you having any merit for your appeal. He goes, so I can't help you. Remember, I'm a young 18-year-old kid. I don't have money. I was struggling. I had no older boys trying to make me help me understand the legal system. So pretty much I got kicked to the curb. My lawyer left me with it, just talk rubbish. My barrister couldn't do much because he was too busy having coffee with the cops. And the judge wouldn't have a bar of it, yeah? Fast forward 9 years later, yeah? I'm kicking back in Supermax, and I got a new lawyer for a charge that I copped inside prison. This new lawyer went and spoke to the barrister, like their friends, yeah? And while they were talking, she like mentioned my name. And then that barrister was like, hang on a sec, I know that guy. Has he got long hair? And she was like, yeah. And guess what this barrister said? Honestly, I do not know how he got found guilty. Like, I feel so sorry for him that he got 10 years, you know? Like, I don't even believe that he did it, you know? Like, let alone have anything to do with it. So remember, guys, I got found guilty for this. So I can now say to you guys whether I did do it or whether I didn't do it. To all the jury that was there that day when I got found guilty, there was 3 that was crying, 3 women, yeah? And there was one cocky cunt. He was like the guy that speaks up at the end and says guilty or not guilty, yeah? The 3 women that were crying, I was looking at them and I was thinking, don't tell me I'm gonna get found guilty for this. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Remember, I've already been found guilty for this and I've already done the time for it, yeah? So now I can just explain exactly what happened, all right? I should have been found guilty of being there after the napping because, so what happened was I didn't know that it had occurred, yeah? My younger brother, not my blood brother, but one of the younger boys called me and said he needed help. Me being loyal as I am, I flew over there, and then when I opened up the door knocked on the door, he opened up, and I said to him, bro, let's go. And then he wanted to show me something. As I walked in, I seen the guy, there all up, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? I gave him a bit of a lecture, and the first thing he said to me was like, bro, it's like, I was helping the boys get this done. He goes, well, I just want to get out of here. I want to get out of here. We turned around to walk out, and as we turned around, bro, the cops started surrounding the whole hotel, yeah? When the cops finally got to our room, they saw the victim. They put us both on the ground and handcuffed us. And this is what the cops did. They took off my shoes, they lined it up, and then they took photos of it. And I've been in and out of Juvie like my whole life, and I've never had that happen to me ever as a juvenile. So I was a bit weirded out, yeah? And when I got to trial, guess what they did? They used it as evidence against me. They said, Peter was so comfortable when he was in this hotel room with the victim because when we arrested him, he had no shoes on. I was like, what? That's corruption right there, yeah? These are the little moves that police do, which they shouldn't do. Like, to all the cops out there right now who are watching this, let me say something to you guys, yeah? You have families that you go home to, yeah? You have kids, and you have nephews and nieces. How would you feel if police officers did this to your family members? That's all I've got to say, yeah? Like, I've seen a lot of police officers come up in the ranks, and then something happens to their kids, and then they start outing corrupt police. Like, why are you only outing it now because something happened to your kid? Why didn't you out it back then when you found out about it, yeah? All right, so this is not about corrupt police, yeah? That will come later. But all I'm saying is, I had a lawyer, I had a barrister, and I had a paralegal, and none of these guys went out of their way to help me. And one of the best barristers in Sydney literally told me to get effed. Why? Because I didn't have money. I asked him there and then, when he told me there was no merit for my appeal, I said, oh, is this a case of having money? Like, maybe I can pay. And guess what he said to me? He goes, you won't be able to afford me. So, to all you youngsters out there who are running amok right now, who are thinking, yeah, gangstering on is easy, who are thinking jail's, a walk in the park, let me tell you something. You don't have to just watch out for the gangs. You don't just have to watch out for the influential people. You don't just have to watch out for the officers who are running amok on you when they're jumping on your head, 6 verse 1. You know what you have to watch out for as well? Are your lawyers, barristers, and QCs. They are the worst, biggest two-face. Like, I would consider them worse than prison officers, yeah? Like, I've dealt with so many lawyers and barristers, it's not funny, yeah? And every single one of them have never ever stuck by their word. Where's my sheet that was up here? Sorry guys, I had something up here for you guys. I just went missing in action. Now, this lawyer that I told you guys about, remember the one that I said to you guys, this is a female, yeah? When she was with this barrister and he said, I don't know how Peter got found guilty, blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. She thought, all right, because I got Peter off one charge, he's gonna stick with me through thick and thin. I got outside of prison, and a lot of my brothers had a lot of court fees, yeah? And I was paying these court fees, like I was collecting money from the boys, and I was paying these court fees. I wasn't showering myself with this money. I was just paying court fees with all the money that was being given to me because everyone wanted to help out the boys. And the only way we could help the boys inside prison was by putting our money together. Now, when it comes to bikies, they have this thing, yeah, where every month you got to pay a certain amount of money. This money goes to the treasurer, or it will go to the head of their gang, and then this money will pay the rent of the clubhouse, get more jackets, and help in any which way they deem suitable. But with us, or with me, sorry, let me just say me. When money came in, I just paid all the boys' legal fees. And this is why I'm gonna speak to all you youngsters out there, yeah? It doesn't matter how much of a gangster you are, yeah? It doesn't matter how much money that you're making. Because at the end of the day, an old school friend of mine said this to me. No matter what you do in life when it comes to gangstering on, all your illegal money that you make will all end up going to your lawyers. He goes, so why even bother? Let me just get back to the lady that represented me, yeah? This is how conniving and manipulating lawyers can be. I gave her $18,000, which was collected from all the boys, to help out in my brother Jimmy Sa's court case, yeah? He had an appeal coming up. So $18,000, I could have put that in my pocket, but I didn't. I gave it to them, do my brother's appeal. This lady didn't even read my brother's appeal, yeah? She said that she gave it to someone else to read and she'll get back to me. Guess what happened? She didn't even get back to me about the appeal. She didn't even, she did visit my brother Jimmy Sa once and he didn't turn up. But after that, she just didn't go see him again, yeah? So when I went to see this lady and I was like, what's going on? She started an argument with me and started saying, you don't run my legal firm. Who are you to talk down to me? And I was like, wait, excuse me. I gave you $18,000, yeah? And she's like, so what? And I go, and then I gave you another 5K out of my pocket, which is 5K just to leave with you in case legal fees go higher, right? And she goes, so what? And I said, what do you mean, so what? I go, doesn't that entitle me to like have a say? Like, you haven't even gone and seen my brother inside prison. You haven't even told me about the work that you've done for him. Like, that's $18,000 plus 5K down the toilet, and you haven't even told me nothing. This lady full freaking clicked it at me, yeah? And when she clicked it at me, she was like going off her nut like I was her son. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna get out of here before I click it at this lady, yeah? So I left. When I got locked up for all my charges, I was sitting inside prison and my lawyer came and saw me and he was like, bro, what did you do to that female lawyer? And I was like, what do you mean? What happened? And he goes to me, during a end of the year Christmas party where all the lawyers get invited, she was there, yeah? And she went and saw my lawyer when I got locked up, and she said, oh, I heard you're representing Vaiusu. And he was like, yeah. And guess what she said to him? She goes to him, yeah, I hate that piece of shit. Because he thinks he's friggin' the king of friggin' Australia or something, the way he talks down to me. And then when he told me this, I was like, wow. I go, did she seriously say that? And he goes to me, bro, guess what she was dirty at? And I go, what? He goes, she wasn't dirty at your argument back then. She was dirty that you didn't call her to represent you for these big charges you called me. This is a lawyer who is known as one of the most experienced lawyers in New South Wales. And this is what she was saying behind my back, yeah? Like, this is how manipulating and two-faced lawyers are, all right? Fast forward, let's go to an incident that occurred while I was doing my last 7 years, all right? So during my, I forget what it was called. So in America, they've got this thing, it's called entrapment, all right? There's no entrapment law in Australia, so pretty much they got this thing, I forget what it was called, but when you go to this courtroom, it's called a stay application, yeah? When you go to this stay application, it's like, it usually supposed to take about 1 or 2 days, but my one took about 4 days, yeah? The police will explain why you should be taking a trial, you explain why you shouldn't be taking a trial, and if the judge stays your application, it means you are automatically released, you go home, and you never get charged for these charges again. So for the charges that I just went in for, and I did 7 years, was guns, drugs, and money, yeah? And I was explaining my side of things, and they were explaining their side of things. During this whole process, I tried time and time again to explain to the judge, I never had no guns, drugs. Like, all I had was money. I had $4 million, and I wanted to hand in this $4 million to get my boys out. And my lawyer actually went on stand here during the stay application, and he actually said that. He taught these, I have paperwork for all of this, yeah? He actually said on stand, when Peter first came to see me, wanting help to do a deal with police in order to get his brother and the boys out of prison, he did not come to me with guns and drugs. He came to me with $4 million. So I had 4 boys that got locked up, my brother and 2 of my cousins and 1 of the other boys, yeah? When they all got locked up, I went with $4 million, and I tried to do a deal with the police, handing in $4 million to get all 4 boys out. Back then, my lawyer, he was supposed to go and do the deal with me, for me, directly with the police, yeah? When he spoke to them, he came back and he told me, bro, the police said this is Australia and $4 million, like that could be considered bribery. But if you got guns and drugs to go with that money, they'll be more than happy to do a deal with you, yeah? Long story short, they ended up saying yes, they want to do a deal with me. They reneged on the deal, and I ended up going inside for 10 years, even though my lawyer stood up and told the judge that I never had it from the beginning. All I had was $4 million to hand in, yeah? The point of me explaining this to you guys is because when I was doing my 10 years, yeah, listen to this. At my stay application, the prosecutor said, you have to understand, Your Honor, Peter and his brothers are heavily involved in the underworld, and we have reason to believe they were involved in murders, shootings, kneecaps, like everything you can think of, it was brought up. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, hang on a sec, we've never been found guilty for this stuff. We've never been charged with this stuff. Like, how in the hell can they say this stuff? What I didn't realize until afterwards is a stay application it's a platform where you can say whatever. So remember, the prosecutor and the cops can say whatever they want to make sure that that the judge doesn't stay my application. And I was shocked at the amount of lies and deception that the police put forward, and the judge ended up accepting it, even though I tried to explain to the judge, I've never in my life been charged with guns, drugs, or money. I've never in my life ever been known to be a part of an organized criminal syndicate. Like, how in the hell can you allow this court case to keep going when they have no evidence of anything, and there's enough evidence to show that I was in the process of doing a deal with police, you know? But the police concocted a story, and the story that they told was, yeah, Pete did try to do a deal through his lawyer, but his lawyer didn't come directly to us. Like, he went to a middleman. This is what I'm trying to explain to you guys that are coming up in the gang world right now. Like, you have to be careful of the lawyers that you hire, all right? I got effed over time and time again. This has been happening to me since I was a kid. So I didn't have to watch out for police, didn't have to watch out for prison officers. I had to watch out for the lawyers, all these legal representatives, yeah? They killed my life. Now listen to this. Remember what I told you about all the stuff that was brought up in my stay application, yeah? Once I had started my 10 years, I was kicking back, relaxing, did my time, got out, and then I went back in for 7 years, which is the 7 years I just finished now, yeah? And the stuff that was brought up, it's brought up for my 7 years, not my 10 years, brought up for my 7 years during the stay application. It was beyond me where I was focused on doing my time, and then a female lawyer accidentally blurted something out.
Together we are.
So much noise. So what they blurted up, love you. What they blurted out was, hey, I'm representing someone. Don't look down at me for representing them. Oh, you know, I didn't know the situation. And I was like, on the phone with her, and I was like, oh, what do you mean? She was like, oh, you know, like I heard about, you know, you and your brother not liking this guy, and, you know, and stuff had happened. And she was being a bit cocky about it, and I didn't realize what she was talking about at the time, yeah? And then I was like, wait, who the hell are you talking about? When she said the name, I was full shocked, yeah? And this is lawyers talking itch, all right? So what happened was, her boss was working for me, yeah? So her boss was at the stay application with me when all this stuff was happening, and when my brothers and I were being accused of all this stuff that we've never ever been found guilty of, yeah? And what I realized after she accidentally said this is she clicked on, so she stopped talking, and then I hung up on her, yeah? So her boss, he was in the know, yeah? What he's gone and done is taken her, like, and his other lawyer friends who worked together with him, he took them out and they had a chat, yeah? When he started chatting with them, he started explaining to them certain things that I've never ever been found guilty of, certain things that was brought up during my state application that he should never be talking about, yeah? When he mentioned this stuff to her, they started blabbering, yeah? And when they started talking, the talk started going outside of their law firm. Now let me explain to you what she was talking about, yeah? She was talking about a guy who got this, yeah? On the newspapers, when it came on, it said, victim of hit becomes a hitman, all right? So this guy, apparently, when my brothers and I were out, got hit many times, and he survived, yeah? Years later, he became a hitman himself, and he got locked up, yeah, for his charges. And from what I know is he beat the charges. My point of this, guys, I'm trying to explain to you how bad lawyers are, yeah? That's why you need to make sure that you find the right one for yourself. My lawyer, who was the boss of these girls, told them something, and they must have all had a chat about it, yeah? Because when she explained this to me, I realized that they were all talking about it, and now this talk was all over the streets. But remember, nobody knows about it except my lawyer, who's the boss of this, yeah? And guess what? When this chatter was going on, the cops turned up and started asking me questions about it. So remember, if these lawyers weren't talking so much each day, I never would have been confronted by police, yeah? They knew secret stuff that happened inside my stay application. They chatted about it, they had a laugh about it, and then they went out and started talking about it. And then all of a sudden, the limelight was on me. The limelight was on my brothers. Why? Because these guys couldn't keep their mouth shut. Like lawyer-client privilege. They're not supposed to talk about anything we go through. Doesn't matter what it is. Now let me explain something to you about fucking lawyers, yeah? These fucking dogs. During all the wars between all the gangs throughout the last 10, 15 years, yeah? Guess who was giving addresses? Guess who was giving details so that this shit must fucking go down? Yeah? It was lawyers, all right? Because no gangster has that much power to be able to know where someone is. Officers, like prison officers, were also caught giving information, but guess what? They could never get away with it. Because as soon as prison officers or police officers put a name in the system, they have to write their initials or the details of their badge on the computer. For example, my name is Triggs, so I would have to write Triggs, and then I would look up Abuzar Sultani, you know, and then when I look him up, I'll know his address, I'll know his mum's house, I'll know his sister's house, like that, yeah? And this is why police and prison officers can't get away with it. because they have to enter their name. Now, I know a female, she wasn't a police officer, but she worked for the police, yeah? She got charged for going into the system and getting information and selling it to the gangs, yeah? But guess what she was doing? She was using someone else's code or someone else's name to get into the system, and then she was getting this information. So when the cops started looking at how all this information was getting out there, they saw a different name, yeah? When they went to that person said, no one has got my details except that female over there. And that was the female that was getting, I'm telling her, $1,000 for information that that the gangs wanted. She ended up getting charged and she ended up going to prison, all right? But when it comes to lawyers, mate, they deal with your parole, they deal with your parents, they deal with everything that's got to do with you. So this is the reason why you have to be careful when it comes to the lawyer that you choose. There's very good lawyers out there, but there's the shiftiest kinds out there. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not even going to lie, 99% of them are all friggin' shifty cunts, yeah? Like you'll find, very rare to find a lawyer that will turn up and do their job properly. Now, let's get to some of the situations that occurred, yeah? When I got taken to Crimes Commission, I had a lawyer and I had a barrister. Remember, I'm not going to mention these guys' names, but all these names will be revealed so that all of you out there may know who's shifty and who's not, all right? And the reason why I'm outing out all these lawyers and whatnot is because you guys have family members who are coming up and they're involved, heavily involved in gang-related stuff. And then there's family members who have what's called sons and daughters who have never been in trouble in their life, yet they're going through a situation right now where they're getting swindled and they don't even know it, all right? So that's the reason why I'm explaining all this stuff to you guys, yeah? For one day of Crimes Commission, listen to this, one day of Crimes Commission, they went to negotiate so when I got shut down, all my money got taken off me, my cars got taken off me, my businesses got shut down and all my banks got frozen. I lost everything, yeah? So I was going to Crimes Commission to highlight the fact that everything I had was legit and they have no right to take what I have, yeah? Got to Crimes Commission, my lawyer took me there, he brought this barrister who I didn't know, and then they went and represented me. They did all the talking, I did nothing. All they did was come to me and say to me, hey, you know, the Crimes Commission said they're happy to do a deal with you, but they want to keep your cars, but you can have all your money back. And I was like, nah, I want my cars back. I go, all right, this, right. They ended up letting me have my mum and dad's car, and they kept one car, they kept my Porsche, and I got to keep all my money. When I was in there for like, not even 15 minutes, yeah? Fast forward 5 years later, and I got this paperwork when I was going through it. And guess what this paperwork said? It said that my lawyer on that day charged me $19,000 for one day, and my barrister charged me $24,000. But this is my hard-earned money that I made, yeah? And there is no lawyer in Australia that will get paid $19,000 for 15 minutes. Let me tell you that, all right? And this is what they did to me. Another story was with a young kid who was charged with terrorism. I was with him in Supermax. He's a good kid. His family don't have much. When he got locked up, he explained to his lawyer, I don't have much money. And his lawyer was a Middle Eastern guy, so he thought he could trust his lawyer, yeah? And he said, look, I don't have, my family don't have money, so I'd rather just go with legal aid. And this lawyer swindled this move and told him, look, what you said, it was just a load of rubbish, you're a kid, I can get you off these charges. But just ask your family, like, man, can't they fork out 10, 20K? And he goes, no. They can't fork out no money. I don't want to put no pressure on my family. I want to go legal aid, that's it, simple as that. Then he went back to doing his time. Remember, he's an 18-year-old kid. This lawyer went behind this kid's back and went to his mum and told his mum, listen, I can get your son out if you can get me about 30, 40K. And straight away, This mum, being a loving mother, she went into her bank account, got the last $40,000 that she had in her bank account, her and her husband, and they handed it over. This was all the money they had. After this guy got the $40,000, he didn't even tell the young kid that his parents had paid this money up front for to have a private lawyer, yeah? A year and a half later, his lawyer turned up and told him, look, we can take this to trial, but I think it's best that we do a deal with the police to drop your charges so you can go home. But we're gonna need a bit of money, you know? And he said, mate, you already got $40,000 off my parents. That's all we got. Like, we have no more money. So if you're gonna want money from me, it's not gonna happen. Put me on legal aid. And what people don't understand is, if you pay privately, like say if you gave 40K to a lawyer, yeah, and then afterwards you say, can I get on legal aid? It's very hard for you to get on legal aid after you've paid money, because now they think you've got money. All right, you can still get on legal aid, but it's very hard. All right? This same lawyer, who I'm going to expose later when I do my podcast, went back to his parents and said the exact same thing. Everything's going good, everything looking good, but we're going to need another 30, 40K. And if you do this, I promise you, I'll get your son out. Mate, the mum had no money, the dad had no money. So what did they do? They reached out to their extended family for help. The extended family put all money together, got another $40,000, handed it over to this lawyer. Fast forward a year and a half. So now the kid's been in for 3 years, and he turned around and told the kid, I'm sorry, I can't do nothing for you, because it looks like these guys' evidence is too solid, so you're going to have to cop it on the chin, man. He goes, if you want to take it to trial, go to trial, but I can't represent you because I believe that you're going to get found guilty. I was with this kid when this happened, yeah? And I was like, wow, he just swindled $80,000 off this family in 3 years, and he didn't even care. Like, this guy, he told him what he told him, and then he rang the prison and got his phone number taken off this inmate's account. And in Supermax, if a lawyer rings up and takes his number off your account, you can never contact him again. You know, like, send all the messages you want and you won't get no reply. Again, to all you youngsters out there, remember, this is all the pressure that you're going to be putting on your family members when you're willing to go out there and do stupid things on the street. When you're in jail, you're kicking back and doing your time. Not a worry in the world, because you know that your family members are going to be putting $100 in your account. You got your buyout, but you don't realize the amount of stress, you know, and heartache that your family members go through. You know, it's not easy. Driving up to visits, you know, especially for the Islander families, putting $100 in your account every week, hey, it's a big thing. Remember, Islander families are very big, so feeding them, hey, it's not a $300, $400 a week thing, you know. It's big money. And these young guys, look, I'm not trying to put it on you young guys. I did the same thing. I did the same stupid things. That's why I'm telling you my story, so that you guys don't do it to your families, you know. Like, learn from my mistakes. Yeah, everything I'm telling you is my mistakes. All right. Now, let's hit it with the heavy stuff. Lawyers that flirt and fall in love with inmates. Hit it with a right uppercut. All right. Now, we got Kieran Loveridge. He was the kid, well, he's not a kid anymore, but he was the one that got charged for hitting a kid in King's Cross. And he was all over the place, because he's pretty much the reason why they brought up that word coward punch, and nobody knows the backstory of it, so I'm not going to talk about it. All I'm going to say is Kieran Loveridge was charged with that, and he's always on the news because that kid's innocent family like fought hard to make sure that their son or their brother was not forgotten. Yeah. So when Kieran went in, this is all the pain and heartache that this family went through. Yeah. And fast forward the many years that Kieran spent inside prison, I'm pretty sure he did about 8 or 9 years, and then he went home. He got parole, so he's home now. He went home before me. Kieran ended up being with a female prison officer at Kempsey Prison. All right. How does this happen? A lot of things that happen in prison has got to do with guys who are manipulating, but it's also got to do with female officers and male officers who just don't get any love and attention at home. All right, that's as simple as I can put it, because obviously, like I told you last time, when riots and stuff go happen inside prison, I get upset because I know that a lot of prison staff bring their dramas from home inside prison and then they take it out on the inmates. This happens on a daily basis, yeah? But when it comes to falling in love, it's not something that happens like that. It's something that gradually occurs, yeah? So starts off with the little simple miss, you know, how you doing? Little, it's not even flirting. How's your day? What's been happening? Starts off like that all the time. Then it goes on to flirting, all right? Now listen to this. This female officer, which everybody knows because she's all over the internet, she wasn't just with Kieran. How about that? You know, yeah, Kieran got caught being with her. So they got caught because there's something in your cell that's called an intercom, where you press and you ask for help, or you press it and you ask like for things that you need, like a sponge, detergent, whatever, yeah? They were talking to each other via the intercom, and the jail was already sus on this female, and from what I know, an inmate who was next door to Kieran, he was so jealous and he was so dirty at the fact that Kieran was getting all this attention that he swindled a move in order to get something for himself. So his move was to tell the bosses what was going on. That's the reason why they listened into their intercom calls, and that's the reason why Kieran and that lady got caught having a relationship. But just to let you all know, Kieran wasn't the only one. Alright, now we got this other bloke. His name is Hoodrich Hefner. That's his name, yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, the one that he got with, the screwiest that he got with, I was there with her at Silverwater, yeah? And she was on TV because like she was a bodybuilder, and she actually used to flirt with a lot of guys. And when I was there with her, she was a bit too nice, you know. Like I pretty much steered clear from her, but a lot of the bikie boys loved having her attention, yeah. And cut a long story short, for all of you around the world that don't know, this female prison officer ended up getting caught having a relationship with this guy, Hoodrich Hefner. And Hoodrich Hefner, if you guys don't know, he's pretty big on social media, yeah? So he's on social media telling his story about him and her as well. But the funniest thing about it is she was also having an affair with another inmate. How about that? Right? You'd think men are bad, but right, there you go. You know, she had 2 of them, and she was stringing them along. Good on her. You know, she was getting money from both of them. You know, she was doing her thing. But the core of what we're talking about tonight is lawyers. Yeah, don't forget, I haven't forgotten, lawyers for flirting and falling in love. Let me tell you something about one lawyer. Yeah, she's a female lawyer from Parramatta. All right, she used to work for this one company, but now she's got her own company. Yeah, she had 3 boyfriends, all inmates. All right, one was at Parkley, one was at Windsor, and one was at Kempsey prison. All right, and guess what she did? She was swindling money off all 3 of these inmates. Yeah, like they would send her flowers, luxury brand bags, they're sending her everything. All right, don't forget, I'm not talking out of school because I was in and amongst all this stuff, so I knew what was going on. All right, and hey, I give it to her. This is what men do to females all the time. You know, they swindle moves like so they could get sex. You know, but these females, they swindle in their moves to get money. All right. Now she had 3 boyfriends, and guess what happened? Out of these 3 guys, 2 of them ended up punching on inside prison over her, not realizing that she was using all 3 of them. All right. Let's move on to another lawyer. This lawyer is very high profile, I would say so, because in the last 8 to 10 months, she's been on the Telegraph newspaper. All right. Let me hit you with this one. Inside her one of the cases that was on the media every day, yeah, she had walked in to pass on paperwork for her client, yeah, and when she had walked in, the inmate that was on screen saw her, and he yelled out to her in front of everyone and said, "You little slut, why don't you pull out your hoo-has like for everyone like you always do?" He put her on show, yeah? But what people don't realize is this is what she did. Like, she would do things like this so she could get more money. Remember, if you're a lawyer and you have a boss, when you get paid, when you get paid from a client, the money doesn't go to this lawyer. The money goes to the boss, and then she gets a percentage of that money. All right. So any move that these female lawyers could do, they do it. You know, and I'm not just talking about the female lawyers. The male lawyers do it too. You know, but the only difference is a lot of the females that get arrested and locked up. Not many of them are money makers. Don't get me wrong. There's a few money makers in there amongst the females, but more so the Hang on, guys. Let me just do this puzzle. Boof. Wait. Oh, perfect.
We're
All
close
right.
to 1 million likes.
Sorry, guys. I was just doing the puzzle just to make sure that they know I'm not an AI. So listen to this, yeah. This female lawyer who is freaking well known in New South Wales, yeah. She was flirting with one guy who's in for multiple murders, yeah. And he ended up passing her along to another guy who's considered his cousin. And this is why I laugh, because I was there when all this was happening, yeah. He passed her on, and then his cousin ended up falling in love with her. So he sent a message back to his cousin and said, "Please don't call her anymore because like she's my missus now." Yeah? And he was like, "Yeah, sweet, all good." So them two were flirting, them two were doing everything together. Like obviously they couldn't do much, but she could show him a little this and that. And this was happening in there, yeah? And mind you, the reason why I'm not going hard with talking shit about the inmates is because they showed me evidence of this stuff. Guess what? You know the mobile phones that they smuggle into prison? They were talking to these female lawyers on this mobile phone, and they had pictures of these female lawyers in lingerie and everything, and I saw it. So that's the reason why I'm bringing it up. It's not because I got told a story. Nah. I was there, all right? And this is not the only female lawyer that does this, all right? How about this story? A female lawyer who created a war inside Supermax. Yeah? Listen to this. She was talking to one inmate, yeah? This one inmate starts using her to send messages back and forth to people that he knows. And there was internal dramas with gangs, different sects of religions. When I say sect, I'm talking about SECT, all right? And what nobody knows is that all the drama that occurred, it never would have occurred if this female lawyer just kept her mouth shut and just did her job as a lawyer. She got heavily involved because she was flirting with this inmate, yeah? And guess what? I was standing there one time when he was having a phone call with her, and he told this female officer, I want you to, female lawyer, I want you to spit on yourself. And guess what? She did it. I actually heard her do it. I was like, what the hell? Like, this is what I'm saying. These lawyers, as long as you're giving them ashkay, like, mate, they're gonna freaking go above and beyond for you, you know? Like, and I'm not talking, the male office lawyers, like, they swindle moves, like, behind the scenes, like, in a shifty way, yeah? But the female lawyers, they use their assets, all right? And I actually don't hate on that. Bro, honestly, I'm all for it. I'm like, do your thing, you know? Like, you're getting paid chump change from your boss, do your thing. But don't get caught doing something that will have your name shuffled around amongst the gangsters where they start plotting against you. All right. So this female lawyer thinks she's all that. She thinks she's a fucking gangster, and she thinks that because she was the one that was passing the messages back and forth. Yeah. She was the one who fucking created all this. And hey, I'm not just saying that that the lawyers are the reasons why a lot of things happen, mate. The cops, they also freaking do this shit. Yeah. The screws, they also do this shit. The reason why I'm only talking about lawyers is because right now, I want to show all the youngsters out there how two-faced lawyers are. Your legal representatives, you need to analyze them thoroughly so that you have a good representative, because a lot of these kinds are bad two-faced, yeah? When I'm talking about screws being involved in this stuff, like, none of us know when a rapist or pedophile or anything like that walks into the wing, yeah? But guess what? The officers tell us because they don't like these type of people too. And then when the boys do what they got to do to these disgusting people, the boys get in trouble, they go to Segro, and then the governor's trying to figure out how the hell did they know about this person. And guess what? It was because the officers told them, yeah? And then there's another situation where many police officers have been arrested for giving over information. So don't think I'm just putting down the lawyers. It's just today is all about lawyers, all right? The corrupt officers are the ones that they do what they need to do, and then when they get caught, obviously they regret it. But I've spoken to I've spoken to 4 prison officers who will now be getting paid their due diligence from my sponsors to come and speak with me in front of you guys on why they did the corrupt act that they did. All right, so that's something for you guys to look forward to. There's one sad story in there where one of the prison officers, his daughter had cancer. He tried to get help from the government. They said no. He tried to get help from the prison staff, like obviously the hierarchies and that, they couldn't help. So what other way was he supposed to help his daughter who had cancer? Huh? What other way? Like, he went and started smuggling in cigarettes and mobile phones into prison and selling it to inmates so he could secure $70,000 for his daughter's cancer. All right, so that's just one story. With the lawyers and stuff, like there is so much more that I haven't even brought up about them yet, but it is something that will be said in a whole when we get to it.